Ladies and gentlemen of the media, thank you for being here this afternoon. My focus is to tell you about my recent trip to Europe and the United States of America, where I led a delegation to promote the interests of the Virgin Islands. Our primary focus was to build international relationships in the areas of financial services and tourism, as well as strengthening our position in the global marketplace. This afternoon, I will tell you first about my recent trip to Monaco for the annual Popular Boat Show. The Monaco Boat Show is a premier international mega and super yacht show internationally where all major vendors, service providers, and yachts of significant size and design converge annually to network and showcase their offerings. The BVI's presence on the world stage as a sailing destination and our desire to achieve significant status as a super yacht destination mandated our presence to notify the industry of this and to showcase our offering. Additionally, the BVI Shipping Register is poised for growth, and the territory's economy could benefit significantly and directly from this success. This will also showcase the BVI flag and the BVI ports of Rhodes Harbor, Goderson, and White Bay on the stern of vessels worldwide, thereby promoting the territory as a premier port of registration and a super yacht destination. During our visit at the show, we had one-on-one meetings with super yacht designers and shipyards, who are all industry-leading stakeholders in the super yacht market. Our discussions were very enlightening and highlighted very clearly our current status in the ship registration market and the steps necessary to improve our product and increase our chances of success. We have identified the need to build and develop key relationships within the industry, thereby creating avenues for the BVI flag to be considered during the critical stages of development, finance, and building of yachts. These key industry partners include active financing firms and legal firms and shipyards. To aid in this effort, plans are already underway to develop a Virgin Islands shipping registry presence in our London office, thereby removing the challenges of physical separation and time differences, and allowing cost-effective and unhindered access to the key shipping and yachting business centers in London and Europe. Further, the Virgin Islands Shipping Registry will launch an aggressive marketing campaign guided by careful market research to ensure efficiency and effectiveness. Our goal is to establish a presence as a competitive option in the shipping registry business and to support and maintain that presence, thereby enabling the birth of another significant industry in the BVI. Our target market also includes our BVI industry partners, and special efforts will be made by the Virgin Islands Shipping Registry to re-engage the local industry. Their full support is a requirement in building this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, on the second leg of my trip, I visited Europe and then went on to Greenland in the North Atlantic. In Copenhagen, I participated in the first extraordinary meeting of the Caribbean Overseas Countries and Territories Council. My colleagues on the Dutch and British territories and I discussed next steps in building the Council as a regional grouping that serves the collective interests. To this end, the BVI was selected to lead a working group on operations and strategic interests that will develop an organizational framework and strategy for cooperation. I will be presenting our work to the Council in January at our second annual meeting in the Cayman Islands. My government views the organization as a strategic institution for coordination among Caribbean territories, particularly with regard to the small and medium enterprise project, which I will touch on later. My delegation and I later traveled to Ilulissat, Greenland, to attend the Overseas Countries and Territories Association Ministerial Conference and 11th OCT EU Forum. I'm happy to report to you that we had a successful ministerial conference. As you may know, the BVI for the past 2 years has served as Vice President of OCT OCTA, which represents the interests of 26 territories in the European Union. We were again successfully elected as Vice President at this year's meeting. We were also elected OCTA Vice Chairman, and will automatically make us the Chairman of the organization at the conclusion of the 12th OCT EU Forum next year in Brussels. This means that as Chairman, my government will host the 13th OCT EU Forum here in the territory in 2014. It will be an opportunity as a territory to give a taste of BVI hospitality to nearly 200 delegates representing the European Union, EU member states including the United Kingdom, France, Denmark, and Netherlands, and their associated 25 overseas countries and territories. We have already begun planning for this event that will be a test of our ability to host a meeting of this magnitude, but we know that we are up to the challenge. The 11th OCTU Forum was also a significant event as it focused on the revision of the Overseas Association decision that will govern the future relationship between the 26 overseas countries and territories and the European Union. The draft OAD is currently before the European Council, who are reviewing the document in preparation for its adoption sometime next year. I'm also happy to report that the BVI, as a Deputy Regional Authorizing Officer for the 10th European Development Fund, signed the financing agreement with the European Commission, who has approved 15 million for the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Project in the 11 British and Dutch overseas countries and territories. The Small and Medium Enterprise Project will benefit all participating Caribbean OCTs by strengthening them and positioning them to take advantage of existing and emerging opportunities in their own markets, as well as enable closer trade links and cooperation with the ACP neighbors to all of our mutual benefit. As Deputy Regional Authorizing Officer, the BVI is responsible for managing and overseeing the implementation of the various activities in all the OCTs. My government will be working diligently to move toward a successful implementation of the Small and Medium Enterprise Project in all 11 OCTs, and plans are well underway toward setting up the Regional Project Office here in the BVI, and this will be completed by the end of this year. Travel and Leisure Global Bazaar. In tourism promotion, destination presence is critical. You are conspicuous by your absence. As the United States economy continues to recover, led by renewed consumer confidence, the global travel market and destinations worldwide are focusing on the US market with laser-like intensity. And the BVI cannot afford to be left behind. We must step up our game and take to the road to style our tourism brand. There is a strong market desire for the BVI brand in North America. A central tenet of our new market push is to build strategic alliances with well-established brands in the same brand tier and competitive set as the BVI. The Travel and Leisure Global Bazaar, only the second event, represents a new trend in travel promotions where the focus is on creating a destination experience, essentially a whetting on the travel appetite. North America is the #1 source market for visitor arrivals to the BVI, and New York is the top market in North America. This experiential event served as a powerful platform on which to showcase the destination before a sophisticated and affluent audience of more than 5,000 people who are passionate about travel. The British Virgin Islands presence, through music, food, drink, and centerpiece catamaran, enabled both repeat and potential visitors to experience what distinguishes a vacation in the BVI from anywhere else in the world. The BVI was able to partner with Travel and Leisure, one of the leading travel publications in North America and the world, at a critical time as visitors are looking at winter vacation options. The way forward is for BVI Tourist Board to raise a promotional game in North America. We must step up promotions of the destination to our primary niche audiences through a push and pull strategy that touches both the consumer and the trade. There will be a renewed focus on top-level consumer activities like the Global Bazaar. We must step up our visibility throughout North America as the United States economy continues to recover. Our focus will be in our new markets with easy access gateway cities. All mediums will be utilized in this marketing effort: print advertising, social media, public relations, vacation packages, consumer events, and high-profile events such as the Travel and Leisure Bazaar. This will be done working in close partnership with our industry partners. My government has long championed the building and strengthening of mutually beneficial international relationships I'm pleased that I was able to sell the excellent qualities we have as a territory to further strengthen our position in the global market. I thank the different stakeholders from government agencies, the International Finance Center, the BVI Tourist Board, Premier's Office, the Virgin Islands Shipping Registry for doing their part in making our product more marketable to the global village. I thank you for listening, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Zan Lewis, ZBVI Radio. It's not the first time the BVI has participated in the Monaco show. The BVI has been taking part in that show for a number of years, as you said, to promote a number of areas in terms of also the BVI as a super yacht destination. How successful you have been, or the territory has been over the years, right, in promoting this or attending this show? What sort of achievements you can point on that would have came about as a result of the BVI attending this show?
The BVI Shipping Registry, which was established maybe 7 years ago, which received the first grade started in about maybe 4 years ago, has been attending the show as well as other members of government. And we have achieved some degree of success in that there are a number of vessels which are registered with the BVI Shipping Registry. We still, however, are quite a way behind other competitors such as Cayman Islands. The intent of this particular trip was to have a greater focus and more discussions with the various persons involved, such as the shipbuilders, the shipyards, to determine what areas we should, how we could improve our presence in and improve our numbers registered in the agency.
Premier Horace Mills, BVI News. You have said that special focus will be placed on the North American market. What efforts will be made to mobilize the local stakeholders in the tourism sector to ensure that you have the product and the offerings that tourists really need?
There is an ongoing discussion with the local tourism sector by the Tourist Board, and which has been ongoing over the years to assist them with marketing, particularly, for example, what we call the drills of the BVI, which are the small businesses largely owned by BVI Islanders. And we assist them quite a great deal in promotion. We also have discussion with them about how to upgrade the product so to be more attractive to visitors. And of course, you know that recently, last year, we did change, not obviously before that, we did change the hotel aid ordinance to allow for hotels with smaller rooms, 3 rooms, to receive hotel aid. Those are things which we have been doing to promote the local industry. And one other thing, of course, is that as we go on these some of these trips abroad to sell the BVI, the other hotel owners or owners of small properties are encouraged to go along with us in an effort to sell the territory and their own businesses as well.
Premier Crystal Kanyak, BVI Beacon. You mentioned the OAD and discussing that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what changes you expect from the previous decision to the new one?
The OAD is essentially a document which determines how the European Union relates to the overseas territories. And essentially, a lot of it has to do with developmental assistance to the overseas countries and territories. And this is reviewed every so often because, as things change, you have to have different approaches. And I can't remember all the details of it, but for example, one of the things that I mentioned is that they will give favorable status to territories who are dealing in goods which may be affected negatively by the world financial crisis, or the events which may affect their trade in goods negatively. On that particular subject, we made an intervention suggesting that services be also included for special attention. But it's a long document, and to give you the full details.
Good afternoon, Premier. Malika McPherson, the Islands newspaper. Sir, we're already in the tourism season for this year. What are some of the short-term plans for the area of concern that the territory has? I think one of the vessels, or one of the ferry that is heavily dependent on it, is going through some difficulties. Would this affect the transfer of tourists and visitors from the U.S. Virgin Islands?
I think the concern that you mentioned relates to the fact that American Airlines are expected to decrease their visits to the territory and to the region. What is actually happening is that other airlines are moving in to take up that slack. And JetBlue particularly are increasing their presence in the region and flying to Puerto Rico. We have also had discussions with other airlines like Seabourn and the other local airline, and we have determined from a discussion with them that they will be putting on extra flights to take up the slack that American Airlines, after the decrease in the American Airlines flights to the BVI. Additionally, the ferry operators, we are working with the ferry operators to increase the efficiency and particularly to be able to relate the departure times to the arrival times of the planes from North America so that the visitors will have a better experience as they come over to the BVI. In addition to that, we'll be putting in place other measures such as a welcoming activity in the United States Virgin Islands, again to ensure that our visitors have a better experience that they get from their plane to the BVI.
Just a follow-up on my question, sir. I know that Leah just had a new CEO. Has the government had any discussion with this person to kind of, I know, how Leah can fall in place to assist with the area concerns?
We had discussions before they got a new CEO, and we were discussing how LIAD could provide a better service to the BVI. We need to continue those discussions with the new CEO.
Premier, you made mention that, well, obviously to boost tourism in the Virgin Islands, there must be proper marketing and promotions. And also you said that the BVI cannot be left behind. But as you move about, or the government goes about to promote tourism in the Virgin Islands, promote it abroad, there seems to be changes with in-house. I'm talking about the Department of Tourism itself. There have been changes to the director. The director basically was demoted. How are you going to promote the BVI abroad, and yet there are problems in-house where there are changes and the people with the experience, so to speak, have been removed?
First of all, let me say to you that it is wrong to say that the director was demoted, and I want to rephrase the question, or shall I answer? Anyway, that is wrong to say the director was demoted. As a matter of fact, there have been changes in the tourist board, as there are changes in every organization. And right now we do have a new acting director in the name of Marcia Hamilton. We eventually will have a situation where there will be a fully appointed director. That has not been determined as yet. The former director is now working in the Office of Chief Minister, directly relating to affairs, tourism activities which relate to the experience that visitors will have coming to the island, and also helping to relate to the product, that is the hotels and small properties.
Will it be correct to say, sir, that Sharon Flax-Miles has been changed to be the director?
It will be correct to say that there has been a conversation.
So it's possible she could get the post?
I will not say that at the time. It is possible, yes.
How many persons would have applied for that post of director of the tourist board?
I cannot at this moment confirm how many persons have applied. That is something that the tourist board has handled.
Premier, extending the cruise ship dock is part of the whole program of improving the tourism market here in the Virgin Islands. And it seems as though there has been a setback, whereby that project was moving ahead speedily. But then the Communication Works Minister who was responsible for that, the cruise ship, saying that they are falling behind because of what is now happening. You have put it out to tender, right? With the whole project falling behind at this point, what are the dangers, or what are the dangers that are expected now that it may not be ready? It may not be ready, or because the promise was made that the first phase of the project will be completed by December. What dangers are there now with it not being completed for the cruise ship arrival in the territory for the upcoming tourist season?
First of all, the cruise vessels, they make the determination as to which ports they will visit. It's like 18 months in advance. So the decision about not coming to the BVI or coming to the BVI has already been made for the coming season. The project on the cruise port is going ahead. We are going through the steps which are necessary to ensure that the BVI gets the best for the money and for the people of the territory, and I think that's very important. So the project is continuing, and I'm sure that it will be completed in time for the next tourist season after that.
You think that as a result of the recent decision of government, the project is falling behind at this time?
I would not say that the project is falling behind. I'd say there has been a little bit of a delay, yes, because we had to change direction a bit in order to make sure that the project was properly tendered, so that, as I said before, the people of this territory get the best benefit from what the government is doing.
I also had a question about the SMEs. So we are going to be administrating this program from the Virgin Islands. Is there going to be any benefits that everyday residents are going to see from that? Or is what might be those benefits?
Yeah. Of course, because while we administered, the benefits will accrue to all the overseas territories. And it is important that the reason why we administer it is because the BVI has always played a leading role in OCTA, and also in helping to discuss with the EU projects and also the assessing funds. And this is the reason why BVI is essentially managing the funds here to the benefit of all those territories, including the BVI.
Back to North America, entrepreneur. What time frame do you have in mind for the launch of the promotion? How much is the government willing to spend, and how much do you intend to earn?
Interesting question. The promotion of the BVI in North America has already begun. The event that I attended just last weekend was one of the significant events in part of the promotion. I cannot tell you how much the government, is intended to be earned by the country, because, as you know, it will depend on the number of visitor arrivals, and depend on where they're staying. There are so many factors that we cannot at this point say what will be the effect on government coffers. Okay. I want to thank you very much. Look forward to meeting you again very soon.